My guest today is Dan Cormier. Dan has been a guest on your TV before, highlighting the importance of identifying the signs of a stroke, the immediate steps to be taken to minimize its impact, and how aphasia affects a stroke survivor. But today, Dan is here to discuss his story as a multiple stroke survivor, a story that he has memorialized in a new publication titled My Stroke Journey, Sufferer to Survivor. So, hi Dan, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Likewise.
Okay, quick definition of a stroke: a rupture or blockage that stops blood flow to the brain, damaging brain cells. What happens when the brain is deprived of blood?
Parts of the brain die.
You've had 4 strokes.
Yes.
And you're still here to talk about it. You've been pretty lucky. Now, why did you decide to put your experiences in a book?
When I had my first stroke, I was probably 7 months. I couldn't really talk, communicate very well. And I was so frustrated not being able to talk or communicate to my family and friends what was going on. And then when I had my 3rd stroke, I realized I remembered how much I needed that to be conveyed to people, and I sat down and started writing this guide, like a handbook for people to understand what it is like for a stroke survivor, to generally what it goes through, the challenges, the changes we face, to give them better understanding. And for the stroke survivor to inspire them to say, you know, I've got through it, you can do this too. And the last reason I wrote my guide was basically to start the conversation. I know I wanted that kind of book so I could dog one of the corners and point to my family. This is what I'm going through.
Because every stroke presents different challenges. And you've had different challenges. You outline them in the book. Tell us more about the challenges and how you were able to address them.
Well, everybody's stroke is different, like they say. Physically, there's therapy. They've proven therapists that have techniques that you can get through these challenges, disabilities. The really tough ones are the visible, invisible effects. A lot of them are mental. I had to deal with anxiety and the depression. It's a work in progress. You have to work through it, and you need help. You need the therapist, psychologist. You can't do it on your own. You just can't. And it was really important to have that help.
You mentioned something important in your book. In Ontario, a surgeon cannot remove a blood clot in the brain without having your permission.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I was fortunate I could talk enough to have it removed. But for everybody's benefit, realize that have something preset already in your wallet. You have your family members have something available if you are unconscious, and they can remove the clot. That's not my 3rd stroke. They couldn't remove the clot. It was in a location they couldn't, but when they can, it's amazing what they can do.
Okay, and then you mentioned visible strokes and invisible strokes. Yeah. What's the difference there?
The best way I can describe it is obviously when somebody walks and talks. Like myself, I can't speak as well as I used to. It's not necessarily a bad thing, some people tell you. But when it's invisible, it's usually something that, you know, obviously it could be a comprehension issue. You could be talking to me and I could be nodding my head and everything seems kosher between us and not understanding anything you say. So really, you know, there's a lot invisible that you have to understand is there, or at least query them to find out if it is. And so it is a challenge. It is a challenge for everybody.
The Victoria Order of Nurses was important to your rehab, and they provided a lot of support. And you're now actually a VON volunteer.
Yes, they let their guard down, let me in. I think the biggest thing about that is you're with fellow survivors, and you have people to talk to, And they put on seminars. It could be via Zoom, in person, but they refresh your memory, their knowledge of certain techniques and new techniques that are out there. So they're really imperative to keep you up to date on your progress.
Okay. One of the chapters in your book is titled "The New You." This is the new you. What do you mean by that exactly?
I think the biggest thing is pre-stroke, the old me. And one of the things that's really, really important, I think, to progress, to become what I call, when you have a stroke, you're a survivor, you're a sufferer. You suffered a stroke. You don't really become a survivor in my books till you've grieved. You let go of the old person you are, and you become that new person. Because if you dwell on who you used to be, you'll be nothing but sad.
That's actually your words of inspiration to fellow stroke survivors. The life in front of you is so much more important than the life you lived.
Absolutely.
But look forward.
Absolutely. I don't think you can look backwards. It's too much of a challenge.
Your current handbook has been so well received, you are already planning a sequel, another one.
Well, planning, I've been asked, and I'm kind of looking through it when I have moments of inspiration. I'll write something about topic. And I'd like to write it on the point of more of a handbook, a guidebook, ready to use for family and friends to read. Because I know it's one thing being in the hospital system so many times is everybody cares about the survivor, the sufferer. They're laying on that bed and they're trying to stabilize them. And the family and friends and everybody included, except the medical team, doesn't know what to do. And if they can read a portion of what's going on, see what I went through so they know what to do, not to do, the good, the bad, the ugly, and be more prepared.
All right. Well, definitely a lot of valuable information in the current publication.
Thank you.
And people can get that, order that online. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming in and telling us about your journey.
Thank you for having me.